Hello guys and welcome back. This is Baron and today I'm going to go through the new operators they'll be coming in the Special Forces Orb number 3. It should be released within the next week or two, hopefully. And in the orb you'll be finding 11 operators, as I mentioned. 5 of them I'm going to show you guys now. It's the cleaners from the division. And to be fair, they're very strong. So I mean, even in the game themselves, the cleaners were quite difficult to face because of all their fire and the burning, and they've applied that to the operators into the game, which really adds to the reality of what they did in the division. So I like that. It's a good plus in my book. So thank you so much, Ubisoft, for doing that. Thank you so much. And now I'm not going to waste your time by listening to my voice. Well, you will be as I go through the characters, obviously, but I'm not going to continue much more. So yeah, onwards to the statistics.
These streets must be cleansed. To save our city, we must burn away this disease. Every trace of it. Only through the power of fire can we be free.
So the first hero out for the cleaners are Julia Martinez. So Julia Martinez has the active ability Special Delivery. I like this one specifically because, well, I'll actually read it for you guys so you get to see why I find it to be special. She releases a specially loaded Seeker Mine to the enemy with the lowest health percentage. Upon reaching the target, the mine explodes in a large radius, damaging all enemies and hits them for 100% ability power, also blinding them for 3 seconds and removing 20% of their current ability charge. I like it because usually you always, whenever you do anything that has a large radius, it's usually just the guy in the front that gets hit. With this one, it would skip that and go behind and hit the one behind. So now you have the chance, and of course, the one you'd hit would also be low on health. But what I like about it is that it will target the lowest health, which means that it's not guided by lanes. It will in fact go to the one who has the lowest health. So it could be a nice, finisher to finish someone off. But since it hits a large radius, it will go in the back, hit someone. Hopefully it hits in a plus, so the target is in the middle, and then it will hit on the squares around it, but not diagonally. So doing that in the back usually means you'll hit maybe two more heroes. So I would like to see it in game when it actually comes out, to try it out a bit. It's only 100% ability power, and usually people have around 7 to 10k ability power when they're maxed. So I'm not sure really how effective it would be, but still, 10k is still a lot if you think about it. The blinding is good because it also takes them out from shooting and doing the weapon power damage for a while. It's only 3 seconds, but still 3 seconds is always welcome. So I do like the ability. It's different. It's a large radius and it will hit in the back rather than the front, most likely, unless of course the one with the lowest health is in the front. So her passive ability is Stop, Drop and Roll. If an enemy not being targeted has a burn applied, cause them to run in fear for 2 seconds. It's an interesting passive because if an enemy not being targeted has burn applied, cause them to run in fear for 2 seconds. So if someone in the back that is not being targeted has received burn, because obviously they aren't the target because you're targeting the one in the first lane, then they will run in fear for 2 seconds. That means they will leave the lane and run somewhere else. That's both good and bad, but anywhere to get them running. So if you team her up with Lion, it should be fairly easy to do synchronous fire on the weak opponents in the back. So yeah, I do see there's potential to use her with other combos. But yeah, that was Julia Martinez. Next up is George Benchley. And George Benchley has the active ability of Feel the Heat. Fires a short burst from an underbarrel flamethrower at the current target, burning all enemies in a line for 200% ability power over 6 seconds, and then grants any allies currently targeting a burning enemy 30% lifesteal for 5 seconds. So yeah, this should be a very nice combo with Julia, because since he's burning down the line, so if you have a line of 3 enemies, the 2 in the back won't be targeted, which means they'll be running in fear for 2 seconds, leaving the lane or coming back or whatever they're doing. But yeah, so him and Julia, good combo. He also gives them 30% lifesteal, which is very, very, very good. Specifically, if you know that you have some troops that are injured, just put them on the same lane, and then when you trigger him to use Feel the Heat, they can then stay behind George and then get 30% life steal for 5 seconds to heal themselves up a little bit, and then they can go back to their lane. So there are options. I like it. It's like Maestro but buffed. So the passive ability is Napalm is my spicy sauce. The name, I don't know who figured out this name, but I like it. It's a little bit funny. Anyway, at 40% health, your tank ignites. The heat fuels your rage, permanently granting 100% weapon power and 50% critical chance, but you will damage yourself for 10% ability power each second. Okay, so this is his passive ability. So when he gets at 40%, he'll become very dangerous. But in that time, he'll also take damage. So yeah, I hope he can use his feel the heat quick, so he gets life still, so he goes back up over 40. But yeah, once he's dropped beneath 40, he's gonna do a lot of damage. I don't know really yet how to use him in function, but yeah, that's different. I like it. And here we have DD89 with the active ability called Open the Gates. Throws a fire axe at the current target, damaging all enemies in the line for 150% ability power, destroying any shields in the process, and then causing the targets to bleed for an additional 150% ability power over 6 seconds. So here's a bit of interpretation, because you'll definitely get the 150% ability power since he does it in a line. So we know that much. He'll also destroy any shields, but does it mean that if you had a shield, you would bleed for an additional 150, or will you always bleed for an additional 150? I think it's the fact that if you remove a shield, that target who had a shield will be penalized and receive bleed for 150% ability power, which means that his active ability, if you time it with someone like Anna when she throws shield and you activate him down the line, that's going to be brutal. The passive ability is called Cleanse the Weak. When an enemy drops below 20% health, synchronize fire on them for 5 seconds. If the current target receives a shield, then gain 40% ability charge. It's a unique passive, and it's a nice passive because automatically once an enemy starts dropping low, they usually swap them to be put in the back, but then you will synchronize. So it's only DD89 they will actually synchronize on them for 5 seconds, but still it's 5 seconds, and it's a little bit of extra damage. And then if the target anytime during that time receives a shield, he will then receive 40% ability charge, which again would trigger his ability and kill the shield, and then cause them to bleed more, most likely killing them. So he's more of a little bit of like an assassin. Yeah, I don't think there's much more to say. I mean, he's very straightforward. And then we have Firebrand, whose active ability is Cured with Fire. Throws a Molotov cocktail at the current target, exploding in a large radius, burning any enemies hit for 150% ability power over 8 seconds, and purging any positive effects on the targets. Okay, large radius, burning, 150% ability power damage, and removes any good effects. Easy. We all know what that does. Passive ability is called the Viking Funeral. Oh, I didn't know it came from Valhalla. If the current target is burning and below 20% health, throws an incendiary grenade at the target, executing them and burning all enemies in a small radius for 40% ability power over 6 seconds. Okay. I'm not gonna lie, that is pretty good. So if his target is at 20% and starts burning, and obviously they're clear, half the effects in here are burning, then his passive ability is that he will throw an incendiary grenade and just outright slay them. And then afterwards, he'll just, burn some of your friends around you just in case. Again, there's not much to say about this guy. I feel like someone rolled really high on the overpowered dice, but yeah, I think cleaners are gonna be a very, 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 very cool team to use, and I'm looking forward to trying to get them to 10, all of them, because I don't know what else gonna be left standing once they start cleaning the table with fire, purifying the table with fire completely. They're so overpowered, all of them. Okay, yeah. Anyway, that was Firebrand. Is the man himself, Joe Farrow. Did you guys really think I would forget about him? So his active ability is the flamethrower. Ah, just fits him. Fires a flamethrower at the current target, burning all enemies in a large cone for 100% ability power over 6 seconds and healing for 50% ability power per enemy damaged. So yeah, he's gonna be a very amazing tank. Just straight out the bat, you just make sure he hits. If you put him in the middle lane, he should be able to hit the 3 people down the lane. If there's 3 people, and then he can hit 1 person on the left and 1 person on the right, or sorry, up or down at the back. If you put him in the middle and he fires along, that's 5 people. You don't meet a lot of those in arena though, so at best he might probably be hitting 3 or 2. But regardless, 50% ability power is backed as healing per enemy that's damaged. And that's his active. Okay. Then his passive ability is called the Incinerator. Start the battle by receiving a negative 30% damage, and then when he's at 70% health, 30% or 10% health, he will ignite one of his gas canisters and throw it at the current target, exploding in a large radius, damaging any enemies hit for 40% ability power, and then lose 10% damage reduction. Okay. It's again, this is something new. It's different. It fits the cleaner theme. So he'll start with 30% negative damage, but once he goes at 70, he'll take one of his 3 gas canisters and throw them. So yeah, they'll do some damage, but he'll lose some of his damage reduction. So I think it's both okay, but this means that if he then goes, let's say he heals himself up to 100 and then goes down, could he lose more than 10%? Like, could he actually go plus so the enemy team does more damage to him? You know what I'm saying? Because it says he ignites 1 of his gas canisters. So if he reaches 100, will he then regain 30% damage? Negative, like, so he would negate? It's a little bit of like, we don't know yet, but once it comes out, I'm sure going to try and see what happens, because it means that I think it would stop at 0 and then he would just be with no damage reduction. But either or, I'm excited to try him. I do like the whole burning theme, that everything burns. Large cone, lines, large cone, go somewhere in the back and hunt and destroy. So I think the cleaners are just outright, they're just beasts, all of them. Did you guys really think I was gonna, leave out the perk for the cleaners? Of course not. So their perk is called, their faction perk is called From the Ashes. Cleaners are immune to burn, and burning an enemy destroys any shield that they have. Okay, so in the game there's a lot of things now that throws out shields, and they just completely ignore that. So that's interesting. Additionally, if you have 3 members, additionally, burning an enemy weakens them for 5 seconds. Okay, so beyond the fact that they're already burning, most likely taking damage, you weaken them for 5 seconds, so they'll take more damage, but they'll also take more damage in terms of shooting, but also from the burning effect that they already have on them. Okay, that's fair. If you have 5 members, additionally, the first ally downed is now revived with 40% health. Remember that guy that goes completely crazy when he hits, was it 40% health, and he starts cocking off? So yeah, okay, so he dies, then he comes back, and then he redoes the same thing because he's at 40%. Oh god. Oh. Okay, yeah, I see a lot of potential in this team for the cleaners themselves. I mean, they're a division team, and I like the division, so I'm going to probably go nuts on these guys when they're released. I'll just scrape up as much as I can to level them up. But yeah, the cleaners look amazing. So thank you so much, Ubisoft, for doing this. It's a nice addition to the game.